All right, guys, welcome to the Next Level Experience Hangout. Today we have a very special guest, Jason Ma, which is the founder and CEO of the 3EQ, which is a company that empowers young leaders in this new economy. And I'm so excited to have him because he's going to talk about his new book coming up, which is Young Leaders 3.0. And how we got connected is because we're part of the same community in personal development. And I searched this guy out because I am obsessed in finding out what distinctions people who are successful on have. Because I believe that proximity is power. So Jason, thank you very much, man, for being in this Google Hangout with me. It's a pleasure, meeting you virtually, face to face.
Well, thank you so much for inviting, Raul. It is my honor and pleasure to be here. So I hope that I could be of service today.
Absolutely, man. So tell us about what your book is about, because I know we spent about 2 hours of the day and we were just going at it and telling each other our stories and what we want to do in this world. But tell us so the audience can kind of see where you're coming from and what you want to accomplish with this book.
Right, Raul. In that conversation, I felt like that I've known you for years already here because our shared values and mission and vision, isn't it?
Right. Absolutely, man. I think that's what this social media is about, is uniting people who have the same beliefs and the same qualities of life, that we want to impact people, I want to help people, and ultimately I think that's what life is about, what you contribute. Whatever you give out, it always comes back to you.
Correct. And that said, to me, when I bring in core people in any meaningful endeavor across a company or an organization, I always do a checklist of, hey, does this gal or does this guy shared my vision, my values, my mission, my goals, my chemistry, and does he or she, kind of bring in some value add or a skill or skill set that complements me, and does he or she better be smarter than I am in the function that I need or in whatever that I need. Otherwise, why should I, hire or bring this person in, right? And of course, you hear about that, and there's an old saying or young saying that A's attract A pluses and A's, and B's hires B's and C's. So for the book team, it's the same thing for me. And what I've done over the years is that I've been a technology guy. I've been in technology for 30 years since I graduated from UC Berkeley College of Engineering. Honestly speaking, I never liked my engineering jobs. I started working full-time when I was 21 years old, starting in '84. And after 4.5 years of network systems, operations, and analyst positions and software design engineer, which bored the heck out of me. Now, I love engineers. I'm surrounded by engineers all the time. I love them. But it depends on each person's setting goals and wishes and all that here. And at the time, I wished to go into business. Even back in Berkeley Engineering, I knew that I'm going to go into business. I went into North American technology sales and marketing, and then went to international sales and marketing and general management. And the companies I worked for, I ran Asia Pacific for a number of companies that are all in wireless, mobile, infrastructure, equipment, systems, internet service. They all went IPO, got acquired. I got a lot of experience. It's kind of like you're the CEO running Asia Pacific. It's just a lot of fun, right? And mostly back in my 30s. And so I'm a business guy. I'm an industry guy. I'm a just like you, kind of a business person. And then fast forward, get a lot of entrepreneurial stuff here. And then co-founded a few things. In fact, I just got an exit out of a great company, and the company got a next round of financing, pre-IPO, and it's really sweet. So it's a Chinese company, one of the hot private internet company. And now, in the past 8 years, I have intersected education with my Silicon Valley-ishness. And back in 2005, I thought maybe I don't know, something tells me that I should go into education and I should start doing something in China. So I found a partner and I did a company, and I merged that company and with another company in the US and founded my previous company, which is a chain of learning centers. And fast forward 6 years later, with that previous entity of mine as a co-founder and then interim former CEO, I got heavily into college counseling. And most of the top guys, we were also college counselors, right? College planning, college applications, college admissions. And for me, I kind of take it to the next level because I'm very people-oriented. I'm also deeply introverted because I need my quiet time, but I'm very extroverted. I love people, and I do a lot of life coaching too. So with that previous company, very stressful, worked every Saturday, every Sunday, full time, sacrificed my family life for years, except for Saturday night. That's our mafia time. I'll explain that later. Read chapter 1, chapter 2 of my book, and you know what I mean. It doesn't mean mafia, it means something else, right? The Ma family. And I picked up, I just fell in deep like with benefiting and inspiring and helping kids. You know, middle school kids, high school kids, college kids, transfer kids, young adults. And after 6 years of working in a chain of learning centers, which is sort of, you know, you cater to the forgive me for saying you cater to the mass market. It's bad for me to say that, but and then I have to at one time I had far over 100 students because I was recognized as a superstar counselor as well as a co-founder. A lot of people come to me. And I love it. I love that thing, but it was very stressful. Imagine you sacrifice your life for years in a row here. It's not that. Anyway, I left that company, and in 2011, I founded 3EQ. And my goal is that why don't I found something in which I could control my time, I could do anything I want, I have 100% ownership. I'm the founder, I'm the investor, I'm the chairman, I'm the CEO, I'm the president, and I'm the chief mentor, right? Do something that is only things that I love and only under my terms. And I did that, and it's done quite well. And it's sort of like a very high-end one-on-one mentoring program plus business consultancy. And the kids are the same. The kids are middle school kids, high school kids, college kids, young adults, entrepreneurs. And I limit my client base to a real small portion, right? But the price is like a 1 or 2 order of magnitudes higher than whatever. So it's you know, it's not, you know, just a tiny micro Tony Robbins thing, but for a different segment, kind of, you know, because I've been following Tony for 2.5 decades. Along the way, I realized that, all right, this is not scalable. And I have to do something to massively contribute because there's so much treasure in my heart, brain, and think I want to share and push it out, right? How do I do it conveniently and economically? And people would be inspired and guided and benefited and advantaged, right? Because from what I've seen so far in the past 8 years in the business, I really see very clear patterns on pains in people, pleasures in people, and stuff like that, right? And I figured out, all right, okay. And after 1,000 hours of, I'm not kidding you, after 1,000 hours of research, planning, brainstorming, including reading dozens of books, talking to people all over the world, getting ideas, and that's even before I started writing, right? Then I make the right decisions on how I should shape the book, the content strategy, what questions to ask, what types of, and then there are a lot of contributors that I brought in already, but then I fine-tune the rest of the contributors. It took me 1.5 years to build my contributor team, right, of 20-something kids. And so the end result, the vision that I have is that, all right, first of all, young leaders, how do you define that? It's really young teenagers all the way to, say, around mid-20s, late 20s, right? My sweet spot would probably be 13 to 25 for the book, right? And what can I do to optimize or to maximize the benefits and advantage for my readers, my future followers on a mass basis? And along the way, I swear to God, I feel that I'm really on a higher purpose. I'm on a higher calling. I'm working for him. I feel guided. I feel really natural, feel really guided. And from what I gather so far, people love to read stories. People love authenticity. People love to learn about actual successes, failures, mistakes, lessons learned, reflective advice from peers, from authority, right? So I combine my authority in the field, and I'm recognized as, you know, as someone who knows a little bit about what I'm doing, along with peers from nearly all the Ivy League schools, from Stanford, from Berkeley, from Northwestern, Chicago, Cal Berkeley, UCLA, Babson, Oxford. The list goes on, right? Plus Georgetown and these kids are 17-year-old to 24-year-old. Actually, one is not 24 yet. He's going to turn 24 in 2 weeks. By the time the book goes out in exactly 1 month, around December 1st. He'll be 24. So a team of 17 to 24-year-olds. And my approach is that why don't I share something that is so deep, that is so exciting, so interesting, that is so inspiring, that is so heartfelt to read. And it might make you cry a little bit. It might make you laugh. It will make you laugh. It might make you a little teary-eyed. And it's all authentic stories here. So the book includes 20-something chapters, and a bit about family background, how your family has shaped your values, because I realized that as a kid, parents, guardians, or lack of parents and the pseudo-parent figures shape quite a bit of your value system, right, as a kid. And then talk about high school life, right? What's going on in high school, right? But I consciously avoid writing things that are boring, like, oh, academics, GPA, SAT, GRE, GNET. Oh my God, no, please don't, none of that. Right? And then nothing about the resume. Here's how the resume look like. No, I want to look like that. That's obvious. You want to go up there, especially you want to go for a more upper tier college path. Those things better be good. Otherwise, you're clean rejected, right? And so I talk anything but those boring parts, left brain parts, right? So I talk about the right brain. I talk about the intersection with the left brain. And I take the reader through a journey of their minds and souls through a little bit of pre-high school, okay, childhood. It depends on the person too. Absolutely through high school, and then through college admissions, right? College choices, college admissions. That's a big thing right now, right? In the world, it's insane. Parents are the ones, right? And the kids, right? And then through the transition into college, right? It's a transition for kids, and then through the college life. Oh my gosh, right? In college. You know, how do you manage your sanity, your social, your jobs, internships, right? Career positioning. And then for the kids that already graduated 1 or 2 years, then share about your career. What's going on? What's important to you? A lot of reflection back into college. A lot of reflection back into high school. What if you go back, then what would you do differently, you see? And then what have you learned when you enter college versus where you're at right now? Now, the kids that I have range from a college freshman, and a sophomore, juniors, seniors, bunch of seniors, a bunch of very fresh grads from this year, and a couple of kids that are out 1 or 2 years. It's a good, tight little, imperfect bell curve, right? And also the variety here. You got kids that are of different ethnicities, faiths, STEM entrepreneurs, politician, consultant, public service people, blah, 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 right? It's like a whole list of categories in my introduction chapter. It's people tell me it's so clear and inspiring, right? It's like, all right, in a nice way, I say, I know people are time pressed. Why don't I show you how to read the book if you are kind of don't have enough time to read my rather thick book, and you're getting it from a price of lunch, for God's sakes, right? It'll change your life. Think about it. For a price lunch or reasonable dinner, your life is going to be totally inspired and changed in ways you've never seen before. It's a good deal, right? And I said, here's how to read the book, couple of sections, that method this, method that, right? So it's very clear. And then it goes on to 1 to chapter 20-something, and then end with my epilogue. And the epilogue, I designed it where there are 2 key sections. And it's success patterns seen, right, from family, high school, college admissions, college life, jobs, internships, careers, right, and very action-oriented here, right. Many of the patterns seen, not all. I never want to be perfect or all-encompassing. It would be silly, right. And then going to concluding advice. I talk a lot. I took a little bit of a page from Tony Robbins and from many experts that I've heard, blended into the Jason Ma style. And I've learned from so many masters over the years, and talk about, how important it is to really shape strong, positive, powerful, pragmatic psychology, find skill set, strategic thinking, execution effectiveness. And I kind of evaluated that, give some analogies. Here's how it works. I stuffed a couple of books into like 3 pages, make it very pithy. That is a good deal already. It's like people go, whoa, that's so powerful and so clear and so useful. Right? high school kids to adults, right? And then I go to a very actionable thing, right? Boom, 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 boom. It's crystal clear. I intentionally write a book where, in my writings, my intro chapter, and a guide every kid on their chapters. The majority actually are my mentees. Okay, so it's very easy. And most of the rest are referrals and people that I pick. I interview a whole bunch of kids, including the former president of Harvard and blah blah blah, a Harvard undergrad, and a lot of great kids like that. It's just that they're too busy. They're working for a new job. That cannot get away, doing a new job. All sorts of things that they would love to participate, but they're just not a good fit at the time, right? So actually decline or mutually not a good fit at this time for a lot of kids that are waiting in line to try to get into the book, but they cannot, right? And at the epilogue is pretty cool, very useful, and I'll even make the acknowledgments very entertaining. So a bit of my personality comes out here. Once you read that, people just laugh. Oh my God, it's so entertaining, so fun to read, right? So that's my book, and I intentionally want to keep my writing. My writing is I'm not even a good writer. I don't even like to write, frankly speaking. I'm also a Forbes contributor, right? I own the Mentoring Young Leaders title at Forbes, and I find myself being kind of a go-to guy for their elite college admissions themes. Well, I don't have time to write. That's why please don't pay me, right? So I ask Forbes to pay me. I take a regular amount of sweet time. I just don't have time to write. So that's a book. I have zero big vocabulary for me. Every word that I write is simple vocabulary. I save time looking at dictionary.com. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is big, especially for young entrepreneurs and young kids.
Yeah.
Who will pick up a book and they will not necessarily be attracted to a 300-page book or a 200-page book.
Yeah.
Because in their mind is like there's much better things for us to do, right?
Right.
But what I'm attracted to what you've done, Jason, is that you've been able to take your passion, which is to help young entrepreneurs, because your background is an engineer. Your background is an investor, an entrepreneur in Silicon Valley.
Right.
I mean, you were able to take what you made, the money that you've made in these companies, and you invested in this project. Because you told me that you self-funded, that you are the CEO, you are the investor, that you're a self-funded company, and your goal is to take this message so you could inspire young entrepreneurs to go to the next level of knowing and using some of the personal development training that you've had to pretty much get them to start thinking different. How to execute, how to analyze better, how to not fall into peer pressure. Because I'm sure in college, man, peer pressure is huge. And I could relate because I dropped out of college after 2 years, mainly because my teachers were broke. They were not making any money. So I was focused on how do I make my fortune, and I dropped out of college. But I knew some of my friends were into peer pressure, and even in high school, and I was growing up, I was involved in peer pressure because everybody else around me was doing crazy things, so I felt like that's the right thing to do. So I definitely want to acknowledge you for that. And tell me, your market is young entrepreneurs, and you get paid some serious amount of money to coach college students from entrepreneurs and CEOs, right? So tell me how many people usually do you coach a year to go to that higher education?
I keep my mentor, I keep it very low right now because the fact of the matter is that when you do one-on-one mentoring, it's time-consuming.
Yeah.
And I have to allocate many dozens of hours per student per year, right? So that's a small slice of my time. And the biggest slice of my time that I've allocated so far has been really on the project, because I figure that that's a mass contribution to millions, right? And I just feel certain that it's going to be an absolute New York Times bestseller. The question I get asked is that to what degree is it going to be a New York Times bestseller, right? And it just hits people in the heart and soul and brain very quickly. Yesterday, I was at DLD, the private lunch, right? German, Israel, that kind of the thing. I heard about DLD probably, and it's run by Steffi and run by Yoshi, a buddy of Israel. He's like the godfather of the internet. And I talked to some of my friends, and these people are very successful, worth tens of millions, over 100 million. They're surrounded. It's like someone was like honey, right? Because, and I mentioned about 30 seconds what I do. I show them a little picture of the book cover. So, holy shit, Jason. Excuse my French. Wait till you go to a business mastery seminar with Tony, then he talks by F's per minute. It's hilarious. I love it. Right? And so my target audience is not only entrepreneurs. Even though I'm a Thiel Fellowship mentor, I'm now a Cairo Society mentor. And Cairo Society, it is, it's probably the world's most influential young tech entrepreneurs association. If the audience, if my audience here has not heard about Kairos Society, check them out. Kairos, Kairos Society.org. And even Bill Clinton, I think, calls himself a mentor, right? So I'm the tiny little person next to him. Last time we had a global Kairos Global Summit 2 weeks ago in SoCal, and Keith Ferrazzi was there. He's a fellow mentor. Jay Abraham was there. He was a fellow mentor. I have a cute little selfie thing with them on my Twitter. And even my Twitter, my social media, I never pay attention to it because so far it's been sort of inclusively. My 3Q is very exclusive, very tiny base. I never care about the number of likes or the number of fans that I have. Now I'm shifting it 180, right? So my team, I got a bunch of people working with me or for me. And it's setting things up here. We're going to flip it. We're going to just massively make sure that we're going to have a lot of likes and fans into that, right? So in a few days, you'll see Young Leaders 3 with a number 3.com up. It's a beautiful website. And Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus. And later on, we'll do maybe Pinterest, Instagram, and LinkedIn. That is important. And so one step at a time. I'm very, very focused here. Now, back to entrepreneurship. My book is not only for entrepreneurs. Now, entrepreneurs, even right now, in fact, I'm being bombarded by Cairo's 50. These are 50 of the most spectacular young entrepreneurs you'll ever see anywhere in the world. Because Cairo is bringing over 100 countries, the best entrepreneurs. They got a team to skim out the absolute best. And one kid who is in my book, and he's going to be a billionaire. I swear he's going to be a billionaire. He's already doing everything perfectly, execution. And he found his passion when he was 9 years old. And in politics in Princeton, and he just graduated from Princeton. He already has a company, and he intersected technology with politics a few years ago, pursuing a segment within the government big data space that is sweet, just exploding right now. He's a good friend of mine, like people here. And he brought in his 4th billionaire into the investors mix already here.
Wow.
The latest investment round closed in record time rather than 6 months, closing like much shorter. And the latest billionaire's firm beat out one of the top 2 most elite venture capital firms in Silicon Valley. Think about that, right? And he is so humble. He's so grateful for who he is and for what he's done so far here. Interesting to read just by itself, right? Just for the price of lunch, you read one chapter, it's a good deal. You get 20-something chapters. And then my book, absolutely overweighted with entrepreneurs. I have another kid, Patrick. He was written up in Forbes and Inc. Graduated from Chicago last year, and he founded 3 companies and sold one. Now he's a Googler, and of course, 8+ people like that get offers all the time. I get offers all the time. I have to politely, sometimes impolitely decline and refer them out, right? And another entrepreneur, Sonia, she went back to India, graduated from Babson 2 years ago. Spectacular, founded a company called White Knife, and also got a family business. She's the president of family business. Her family runs it's got 100,000 resellers in the biggest textile company in India. Just a sweet kid. All my kids are very sweet, right? Very humble. I love them all. I'm like I'm surrounded by kids all the time. Sometimes I feel like I'm pseudo daddy, right? And it's the kids that kind of lack father figures, the girls especially. Sometimes they're the boys. And what I find is that human nature needs a mom, needs a dad, and sometimes you don't have that. You can get these different sort of, it's a subconscious thing. Like we are taught by Tony Robbins, right? Subconscious is the most powerful thing. Yeah. So entrepreneurs is one of the segments of the audience I cover, and I got a diplomat, building bridge of peace, I get a happily depressed two-time college dropout. I talking about dropout. I got a dropout, and he's the nomadic entrepreneur. He's the youngest Oxford entrepreneurs, which is the biggest society for young entrepreneurs in Europe, right? At age 17, he was already president, and he was so busy doing stuff that when he stopped out temporarily, went back to Oxford, did not, and then decided to not proceed. And he's doing spectacularly. He's only 21 years old, sweet kid, and his father got murdered when he was under 2 years old. He's Dutch and so mature, and so humble, right? And just loved everywhere. And he's in the Young Global Shakers at the World Economic Forum and Kairos Fellow, of course, and some of that thing. And I'm just talking about entrepreneurs now. I have a few more. I got a Brazilian golfer turned entrepreneur. He's a junior now at USC, right? And he's also one of my mentees, not all of my mentees. And I have other kids that are entrepreneurs, right? So I would say out of this many kids here, this many are the entrepreneurs. And these are the management consultants, right? The Boston Consulting Company consultants, and then the politicians, and then the sociologists, the educators, and the wonderful other professions where, frankly speaking, college kids, if you don't drop out, even the happily depressed two-time dropout, she dropped out twice from UC Berkeley, and went back. And then so for a bunch of most of the other kids, the traditional paths, people are not entrepreneurs. Most of the people are professionals, right? They come out, they work for someone, they have a limited function, they do good, but you and I, people like you and me, and probably most of the audience, is that we're entrepreneurs. As entrepreneurs, as we know, it's much more complex. We have to do well within our ecosystem, not only with our customers and clients and partners and employees and investors, but other partners and your spouse. Sometimes it's harder to sell, right? And then the other constituencies within your ecosystem, and within each constituency, where even service providers are important, and their constituents under each constituency within your ecosystem, right? And navigate through that and be a very good visionary, and build companies and manage risks, right? So it's very, very exciting. So my book is very embracive, it's very inclusive, it's not exclusive. So it's embracing to just everyone who would like to really enjoy a better life in the future, and give and contribute and be a better human being. That's all. You don't even have to go to, oh my gosh, Berkeley or Georgetown or Stanford. You could be going to City College of XYZ. You could be a community college student. You could be dropouts. Because even as adults are crazy about this, right? Even the curious souls, right? My friends, they go, holy shit, Jason, this is spectacular. I would love to be the first guy to pick up the book, right? Because it's so entertaining. I love this, right? And just for myself, I'm a CEO, right? Regardless that you're a student or a young person or a parent. And so it's very broad.
I truly believe that we as entrepreneurs, we have a duty and a responsibility for the youth.
Right.
At my events, we always have some type of contribution. In the last event that we had, inner city kids come to the event, and we will help them and mentor them. And some of them already are going to become doctors or lawyers, but it's because the fact that they had a mentorship. And I'm a true believer that mentorship is what's needed in this new economy for young entrepreneurs. I remember, I didn't have a mentor. When I was growing up, my mentor was, the streets. My mentor was my friends around me. Like the biggest kid in the block was my mentor. I just imagine where I would be if my mentor would have been a guy like Richard Branson or a guy like Tony Robbins, which, is you don't have to know them personally. You just pick up their books and read their stories.
Right.
It just happens that, eventually you get to the point that you can meet them, but as a young entrepreneur, just pick up books and start reading biographies, pick up books and start researching and looking for mentors, because that's what changed my life. I think I shared with you in our last call, Jason, that the book Rich Dad Poor Dad changed my life.
Right.
I read that book when I was 20 years old, and I believed in what he said, and I started buying and flipping properties.
Right. It's interesting that, you know, luck is probably laboring under correct knowledge. And then along the way, one simple little moment could pivot you, like the book you read, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And for me, I conceived of this book roughly, vaguely, in 2012, but it was one event that I went to that pivoted me. I said, I just stepped on a virtual gas pedal. So I went to the a Churchill Club event, which is probably one of the most influential, maybe the most influential mainstream technology, association, mainstream CEOs and chairmen and big shots. And in Silicon Valley, it's about the future of publishing. And I saw my friend Guy Kawasaki, who's among many, many people who's been so supportive of me. Right, Guy's been very helpful to me. I thank him very much, along with many, many people. And I met some new friends. And I learned from them, and I said, oh my God, this is so interesting. And now I'm clearer on how the book business works. And I've done a lot of research on how the book business works. And which I try to do things not all the time, but sometimes I demonstrate by example, like you, I'm sure, and like many people in this audience. And why don't I integrate a lot of the publishing functions into my team? And because I know how it works. And because unlike most authors where they're comfortable about writing and get a publisher from New York, and I respect them a lot here. But hey, I'm a businessman. You know, marketing and distribution and sales is my strength. If you see my networks, holy crap, yeah, I got 40 networks and communities, Forbes, and a lot of CEO networks, very powerful. I know dozens of billionaires. I know over 1,000 CEOs. And I'm in the sweetest spot surrounded by A+ people all the time. And these people, a lot of them are just enthused. Jason, what can I do to help you today? I would love to promote for you, just as a friend. And maybe, so it's a bartering thing. It's a win-win thing because we're all in it together just for fun and to contribute, right? Whether it's lightly or heavily. There's just a lot of things going on that are quite interconnected, and sometimes when I feel, we always go through self-doubts, but at the end of that short self-doubt in the past, I feel guided. I feel that I'm on a higher purpose. It's like Vinod Khosla or John Doerr. These are two of the billionaire kingpins in Silicon Valley. They say power through obstacles, right? Naysayers, especially the obstacles, are the naysayers, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they're not really encouraging here, even though but you cannot disconnect because you have a relationship. Right? That's how things are, right? We entrepreneurs don't get understood a lot of times, right? Because we're crazy people.
I could definitely relate to it, Jason, when it comes to powering through, because a lot of people ask the questions like, how did you build the next level experience? They ask me that, how did you build this seminar or this speaking business in a short period of time? Because I've been doing this for 10 months, Jason. Like the next level experience started 10 months ago.
Right.
And
you told me a story, and I'm very impressed.
Exactly like you. I'm a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur. I understood marketing and I understood strategy. I understood one thing is bringing value to people.
Right.
Because as long as you bring value to people, guess what? People are going to want to do things for you. And just like you said, like your network is your biggest asset. Like I surrounded myself with people who were like all the time, what can I do for you, Raul? Because I brought value to their lives that I'm able to pick up the phone. Listen, I'm putting an event. How many people do you think you could spread the word to? And all my events have been sold out. Every single event, just because I brought value to the marketplace.
Right.
Put people who are like-minded, just like you said. Cool people want to be around cool people. A+ people want to be around A+ people because they know it's not about what can you do for me. It's about what can we do for each other and how we could create a bigger impact.
Right, and you've done quite well. And even though some of your audience or members or beneficiaries, they're fellow sort of followers of Tony Robbins, right? And they like you. They see the goodness in you. They see the heart. They see the wholeheartedness. They see the approach. They see the mutual benefit. And people are so short-fused these days because we're so busy. Like for me, oftentimes, my biggest problem is that I struggle sometimes in time management. I kind of went through a whole bunch of the programs to even kind of train myself on time management. Right? It's not really time management; it's really state or emotion management. Like Tony Robbins mentioned, the planning method here was just one of the things that I learned from, and you've done quite good there. Now back to the book. It's funny. Ever since I started learning from Jay Abraham just a few months ago, but way before that, Jay and I did not know him, did not know his teachings. We're exactly on the same page already, a long time ago. And I figured that the best way to really make certain that it's going to be an absolute global phenomenon and a New York Times bestseller, right? And my goal is not to make it a New York Times bestseller. I think it's just a byproduct benefit of my contribution overall. And I would wish to get elected based on meritocracy, not based on ego. Okay, once again, based on meritocracy, with a little bit of high level of networking. That's how life works privately, and recognition and contributions and effect and influence to the world, kids, parents. I say because I'm mid-age. I'm in my 50s. Okay, believe it or not.
Oh wow, man, you look great for being in your 50s. I don't know if I don't know if you have a filter in your computer or something.
I'm a senior youth, man. We are senior youth, okay? And maybe in the past N years, I've been surrounded by kids all the time. I'm youthful forever. Despite my 80 hours of work week, I still get on average my 8 hours of sleep. Fellow entrepreneurs, schedule your work around your sleep. I'm serious. Okay, you need sleep. And
that's awesome.
Here's a giveaway.
That's your ritual. That's your ritual before you get up. Is you have to get 8 hours of sleep.
Okay, here's a free giveaway to all of you. Okay, all right. Here's a secret for you, for men, for women. Okay, go to Nordstrom, go to Macy's, go to a high-end department store. Okay, if you don't know about this already here, if you're not applying something like this, go to the cosmetic section. And if you're a woman, go buy the Clinique Clinique moisturizing lotion. If you're men, buy that. It's fine. No one's gonna judge you. I buy the same thing, or buy the Clinique M lotion. I'm told it's the same product, different packaging. Okay, and all you do every morning, you spend seconds, no more than 10 seconds. I'm not kidding you. Okay, dab liver here, dab liver here, here. You just compliment. That's it. That thing works like magic, man. Your eyes, okay? Do I have eyeshadows to you as a 52-year-old? Not much, right? And so it's only psychology coupled with my own habits, maybe a little bit genetics thanks by parents and ancestry, the Ma clan in Chinese, right? And then that's it. So stay young, man. It's really just habits, man. It's just habits.
That's awesome. That you got it there. Beauty tips by Jason Ma. That's awesome. Love it.
Get it. Okay. So back to Jay Abraham. Anyway, way back, I figured that 2 years ago, I already thought about the strategy is, all right, how do I make the absolutely most interesting content, right? The book. That's why I've done my research, right? And then how do I create a powerful marketing distribution system and implement that? And I'm very good at execution, like a lot of people here, so there's no issue with that. It's executing already here. And then I'm investing big bucks. I'm talking 6 figures just into the big project here. So I'm really building a big business, right? And so together, content, marketing, distribution, because publishing is entirely marketing distribution. Most authors don't understand that, right? And there are a whole bunch of things that we are beginning to implement right now. And there's a lot of growth ahead. The beauty is that it's not only this month, next month, the book's going to launch around December 1st. I'm going to keep on implementing, right, the strategy. And so the thing's going to sell millions. So the book's millions. I'm going to try to, just out of meritocracy, right? I wish to be recognized as a mensch, right? Imperfect mensch with my faults, with my bad, past and some of that here. I don't care. Right? In fact, that's a lesson to teach people is that you don't have to be perfect. No need to be perfect, right? So unless you do brain surgery or heart surgery, that better be perfect here. I coach my kids whether they want to be a politician or consultant or or work as an engineer or as an entrepreneur. Is that please don't be perfect, because if you do that, then you spend twice as much time, then you lose the opportunity. Then you have to seize a moment and move on, man. Okay. So even your college essays, please don't overdo it. No need, man. Move on, okay? the most important thing people know about you is your authenticity, the real you. Okay, don't try too hard for God's sake. Try hard, but work smart. It's very important. That's a small part of my teachings, right? It's really common sense. It's really no magic to it here. So, the older I get, Raul, is I find that it's very interesting. I don't really believe that much in the word coincidence anymore. Because things line up, things happen in ways that are so frequently, boom, the way it goes is like things happen all of a sudden. I actually don't want this person to be here. Boom, the person automatically is gone. Not me. Or I want this to happen here, and then crazy thing is that, all right, it happened. It's just weird almost. So sometimes I feel like I'm being guided. I don't know what's going on here, you know. So it's very exciting. My team is very enthused, and we all just very grateful and excited to be in this opportunity together to give. And the kids going to benefit a lot because they're going to be mini celebrities or whatever, right? It's going to get a lot of exposure and recognition. Anyone who doesn't recognize that must be insane. And I'm going to get invited to a lot of great parties. Probably like Amy Chua, who wrote the Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mom, right? She gets invited to all the great parties. I'm getting invited already to some of them. And for certain events here, hey kids, would you like to come here? Depending on the situation, right? If they're allowed here. So there's a lot of opportunities that's going to be upcoming for my contributors. That's very powerful. So the intangible benefits will translate into tangible benefits. It's my imagination. I'm not saying that. Not a legal disclaimer, right? No, I'm not promising anything. And just contributing and help evangelize the cause. And I think that's going to really change the world. We're really here to change the world. I'm here to change and redefine what it means to be a young leader right now. And a lot of it's really back to basics, It's really connect with the soul, your heart, your minds, but go all out. They're good, focused, passionately. Whether you want to get into Harvard or you want to drop out, but you want to do something else successfully, it's really emotional, it's logical, it's systematic, it's right brain, left brain, it's spiritual, scientifically speaking. Okay, yeah, secular. Most people are secular. That's fine. Anyway, I said enough.
That's awesome. That's awesome. There you go, guys. Go out and do something to change the world. Just because you've been doing something for a long period of time doesn't mean that you can't impact people's lives. You may not have, the opportunity to write a book, but you do have the opportunity to change a young person's life just by having a mentorship program. Go to your local high school and find out a couple of kids there that need mentorship. Go to your local college and find out anybody who needs mentorship. See, the world will only give you what you give the world. People ask me all the time about abundance. Abundance starts with you. It doesn't start with the world being abundant. It's you being abundant. So thank you, Jason, for being with us, man. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to reading that book. I believe that book is going to change young people's lives, and I have an 8 and a 7-year-old son and daughter, and I believe that that's our future. If we could do anything to help those kids have a better future, that's what we're here in this world for. So appreciate you, brother.
Well, I really appreciate that, and you know what? What the advantage you have is with your kids right now. Your kids are young. What do you think? Time. You have time.
Time.
You have time. So start early, guide them well, let them flourish. And one thing that I learned is that grade school kids and middle school kids here, they really need guidance. If you let them make decisions here, their passion will be World of Warcraft or Call of Duty. It's going to damage your brain. It's not good. I've seen a lot of those. In fact, I got a mentee that I'm trying to rescue right now. See, some of my mentees, they're not even A students. They could be even, so you get my point? But yeah. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful to be involved and to contribute, and it's been quite a bit of fun. And keep on doing good too, Raul. You're doing great.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. All you guys, go to the www.thenextlevelexperience.com. Sign up for the latest interviews when I bring you the power of proximity. Jason, would you want to give your website as well so they could check out the book?
Sure. The website will be up in a few days. It's simply youngleaders3.com, the number 3. Youngleaders youngleaders with NS3.com. Thank you.
Awesome, guys. Thank you, Jason. Learn it, live it, experience it, love life.